جايين من كل مكان للصويرة زينة البلدان نزورو ونرجع فرحان كالضبيل وللهيلو لا حوض السلاح وثوم حيلة نضربو شوفار هاد الليلة.
Moreover, Rabotai, with the permission of Hashem, I would like to wish to all of you a good week. Oh Hashem, we are now after Shavuot, and as we know that before Shavuot, before the holiday of Shavuot, there is a parasha of that Hashem asked Moshe to count the Jews. To count the Jews. And the question is, what it is the reason that Hashem He wants that we count the Jews? How many Jews are in the desert? I mean, Hashem, He knows how much they are. So why before Shavuot, Hashem He asked Moshe Rabbeinu to count them? What it is the reason? And besides this, if you read a little bit the Torah, you will see that Hashem He asked Moshe Rabbeinu that the tribe of Levi should not be counted with the 12 of the tribe. They should be counted on at own. The reason is why. The question is why. I mean, Shevet Levi is as well. They are as well among the Jews, among everybody. Why we have to count them on their own? So the answer is because the Gemara said that the tribe of Levi are Legiono Shel Melech. That means they are very special. Why? Because they study Torah, because they teach Torah, and because they take care of the Beit HaMikdash. So the question is, all the Jews at that time, they studied Torah in the desert. So, like the Rambam said, every Jew that studied Torah, he become like a Shevet Levi. His name become like a Levi. So at that time, everybody was studying Torah. So I do not understand why you count the Jews, the 12 tribes on beside the tribe of Levi, and then you count the Shevet, the tribe of Levi, on its own. Why? Because they are special. All Jews are special. Everyone is special. So why? Why this? Like, I will not say the word discrimination, but why you count the Jews 12 tribes on their own and Shevet Levi on his own? What the reason? Okay, the tribe of Levi are special. They take care of the Beit HaMikdash. They take care of they teach the Jews the Torah, and because they study Torah, the Jewish people as well, the 12 tribes, they study Torah, and as well they give money for the Beit HaMikdash. The maintenance of the Beit HaMikdash, it depends on the Jews who give the money, the shekel. So what it is the reason that this separation? And the most powerful question is, when Hashem He gives the Torah to the Jews, it said, Vayered. Hashem He came down. The question is, I don't understand what the meaning that Hashem He came down to talk to the Bnei Israel. I don't understand. I mean, Hashem is everywhere. There is not a place that there is no Hashem. So I don't understand what that means. Vayered Hashem, and Hashem came down on the mountain of Sinai to give the Torah to the Bnei Israel. What does that mean, come down? A lot of times, you see, when Hashem spoke to Abraham, it says, Vaya'al, Me'al Abraham, that Hashem, He came to speak to Abraham, and then He went up. I mean, you can say that about me, that David Pinto come down, David Pinto go up, but with Hashem, it doesn't exist. Hashem come down, or Hashem go up. Hashem is everywhere. We cannot use the word, Vayered, Vaya'al, Hashem come down, Hashem come up. My friend, I would like to tell you this. The parasha of Naso, the parasha of next week, of this Shabbat, is the longest parasha of all parashiyot. And this parasha, it's exactly after Shavuot. And I saw in the Hidushei HaRim, he said, the reason why the parasha of Naso, the parasha that we read after Shavuot, why it's longer, just to let us know that the Torah has no end. The Torah is very long. After Matan Torah, you must know that the Torah is very long. There is no end of the Torah. It is just to let you know, hey, the Torah, there is no limit. And that's why one parasha, it's longer. Hashem, he counted the Jews. Before, as it said in the parasha of Bamidbar, who counts Jews? Only Hashem. Why he count them? He knows how much they are. But Hashem, it's very important for him that we should know how much the Jews, Hashem, he loves Am Yisrael. That Hashem, he has a value of the Am Yisrael. That's why he count them. You can only count something that you love. You can only count something that you like. It's so much HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he loves the Jews. When he give them the Torah, Hashem, he came down for their kavod, for the glory, for the kavod, for the honor of the Jews. Hashem, he came down to give them the Torah. This is why the Torah used the word Vayered. I mean, can you imagine how much Hashem, he loved the Bnei Israel? Who are we? We are nothing. Hashem is everywhere. He could give us the Torah from up there. No, Hashem, he came down. We saw on the mountain of Sinai a big fire, the presence of Hashem. And because the presence was there, Hashem, he forbidden anyone to approach the mountain of Sinai. No one should approach, because the Kedusha of that moment that Hashem came down to Har Sinai. For the kavod, to the glory of Am Yisrael, Hashem, he came down, he went up, he came down, and there is a message to learn. If Hashem valued the Bnei Israel, he valued the Jews, how much between us, we have to value each one of us. And we have to be very careful to take care of any one of us. It's so important. If Hashem, he came down and he went up, so how much we have to value our friends, to come down for him, to help him. If you must go up for him, so go up for him, help him. A lot of times we don't want to bother to oh yes, excuse, we are tired, da. You know what? I saw something incredible. Some of our big rabbis said, why Hashem he give two eyes to the person? Why not only one eye? Why to see give two eyes? And he said, two eyes, one eye to see your friend, only the good things of your friend. And one eye to see yourself, how bad you are, what you have to repair. Don't use the two eyes just bad to see bad your friend. With the two eyes you see only bad things. No. Hashem created the eyes to see one, to see good things of your friend, and the other one to see yourself, to see are you good or if you're not good. And this is the reason, my friend, the message. Why Hashem became the Jews? To teach you, if I value them and I count them, so you have to value your friend. Count. Put him in your account. Don't think it doesn't exist. If I went up and I went down for your kavod to give you the Torah, so how much you have to be careful with your friends. Olam Hesed Ibaneh. this word, it's standing only for good things that we do. Look, between Pesach and Shavuot, the students of Rabbi Akiva, they die. 24,000 students pass away. Why? No nahagu kavod, because they didn't respect each one, didn't take care, didn't take the message, how much Hashem he value each one of us, how much Hashem for us he came down. I mean, he could give the Torah from up there, but he came down for the kavod. So how much we have to give kavod to our friends that they're next to us. It's very important for Hashem to be the king for a nation that they are united. Each one that value the other one. This is the kavod, this is the glory of Hashem. Hashem did not give the Torah to the Jews only when the Bnei Israel, they were all together. As you know, my friend, when Hashem said to build, the hotel of sacrifice, that monument, when you do sacrifice, Hashem said that we should build it only with stones, with no barzel. Why not the barzel? Barzel is the iron. Why? Because, usually the sword are made with steel. So the barzel is the symbol of war. It's the symbol of war. So Hashem said, in my Beit HaMikdash, my temple, I want everything symbolic to peace. And the barzel, it's a symbol of the war. We build with the barzel, the swords, that you can kill people with it. So I want only stones. So I had a question. I don't understand. Hashem, he don't want that we build the hotel of sacrifice, that monument where we do sacrifice, where we do all the shapes, when they kill them there for the Beit HaMikdash. He don't want, Hashem doesn't want steel, the iron. Why? Because it represents killing, it represents, war. But even with a stone, you can kill somebody. A heavy stone, you can kill somebody with it. So what difference? Now Hashem prefers stone, not the barzel. Why not? Today you build a house, you build a big building, you need a barzel for the foundation, It's like because it's very strong. I remember when we saw when there is earthquake, when there is houses that they fall, you see only the steel, the iron, it still remains because it's strong. So I don't understand. The same way you can kill with the iron, so you can kill as well with the stone. So why Hashem want that we should build only the house of sacrifice, the monument of sacrifice only with stones, and not the steel. Why? And I was thinking that the difference between even, stone, and barzel, the difference is the even, it doesn't make noise. But the steel, the iron, it makes noise. Like you take two swords and you fight with two stones. With you hear noise. You hear noise, and that's what it's very important for Hashem. Hashem, the symbol, the Beit HaMikdash is Hashem. When somebody bring a sacrifice to Beit HaMikdash, he should come with bitul. What it is? Stone. Stone, the The origin of the stone, it's what? It's sand. It's sand. It reminds you, it's even Adama. It reminds the person that I came from the sand, and after 120 years I will die. I will go to the sand. This is when I come to Hashem to ask Him forgiveness, and I bring a sacrifice to the Beit HaMikdash, I must feel, I have to cancel myself. And that's why Hashem wants us to bring Adama. Adama, it's to remind you, you came from the sand and you go to the sand. You have your hand. And it reminds you that and the sand, the stone doesn't make noise. But the steel, the sword, the iron, it makes noise. And this is very important. When you come to Hashem to ask Him forgiveness, you have to come with, your face down, with no noise. Bitul, cancel yourself. I know that you can kill somebody with the stone, and you can kill somebody with the sword. But the difference between the stone doesn't make noise, and the sword, the basil, make noise. And when you come to the Beit HaMikdash, you have to cancel yourself. You have to think your origin and your future. So your teshuvah will be a strong teshuvah. And now, something incredible. In the Torah, in Parashat Bamidbar, it said that when you bring, Hashem said, when you build the temple, you have to make there some shumrim, some people that they will guard, some people that they will take care of to guard, like a bodyguard, to guard, the Mikdash. The question is why we have to guard the Beit HaMikdash? Who can steal? Who can go to the Beit HaMikdash and steal from there? Nobody. So why it is the reason that we must do shumrim? We have to do some guards to guard the temple. Why? The temple is the house of Hashem. David Pinto, sometimes I need a bodyguard. But do Hashem need a bodyguard? Do Hashem need who can steal? Who can dare to go to the Beit HaMikdash and steal something from there? So why Hashem asks? He asks us to do some shumrim there. And you know what we're thinking? Something extraordinary. I was thinking that, of course, Hashem, He doesn't need some bodyguard, or some guards to guard the temple. No, He doesn't need. It just Hashem, He wants to teach us a message. Look, even me, that I don't need guard to guard my house. For the kavod of my place, I need some people to guard the Beit HaMikdash. So, Hashem, the message is, if me, Hashem, that I don't need guards in my temple, I ask you guards, so your friend, that every Jew, every friend is like a Beit HaMikdash. How much, if you need that he needs guard, if you need that he needs protection, if you need, you know that, if you see that he needs something, so give it to him. This is the message of Hashem, that every Jew is a Mikdash, is a temple. The same way that you take care of my temple, Hashem said, take care of the other temple, which is your friend. Can you imagine that? Hashem compare every Jew like a temple. Like a temple. So you have to take care of him. Me that I don't need guards, I ask you to take care of my Beit HaMikdash. So, Kal Vachomer, the temple, your friend, that if you need something, take care of him. Yes, my friend. I was reading something, big moral. I was reading that sometimes we go to pray in the synagogue, and people pray. But there is people who don't pray, they talk. So sometimes it's better to stay home and pray than going to synagogue and you don't pray because people are talking. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? The first one that started talking, he destroyed the whole tefillah. He destroyed the whole community. So please, take care. Take care, be the guard of your friend. When he start talking nicely, tell him, we talk after. But nicely, with no aggressive, nicely. Just imagine, you drive a taxi, you take a cab, you take a taxi, and then the driver take you to destination, and you tell him, you give me for me X, and for my car X. I mean, you compare yourself to the car. I mean, you ask for the whole price. You don't separate. I mean, when you ask the money you need, so you ask the full price. You don't say, for me, you give me X, and for my car, you give X. Or do you can speak? Do you can talk? How much a man should be clever, should be understand. A man should make himself a value. You have to value yourself. Don't put yourself half with the car. Value yourself. When you ask the fee for the trip, ask the full price. That's it. You don't ask half for me, half for the car. Or the car talk, or the car... just imagine, you take a house. You take somebody on a house. And then when you arrive to a destination, you tell him, half for me, half for the horse. Do you compare yourself to the horse? How much people should value themselves? And besides value themselves, value their friend. Take example from Hashem. How much Hashem he value? How much Hashem he value the Jews? So he count them. How much he value them? So he come down for them to give them the Torah. Then he go up. Then how much he value them? For them, he told Moshe, come up, that I will give you the Torah. How much Hashem value the people? How much Hashem he value Am Israel, the Jews? He count them. How much he value the Jews? He come down for them. How much Hashem he value the Jews? He asked Moshe Rabbeinu, come up. I want to show to all the angels up there that how much I value the people. You represent the whole Am Israel. How much Hashem he value the Am Israel, the Jews, when he asked from them, put a guard in my house. Even that Hashem doesn't need this guard. But the Musa is, if me, I ask them to guard my house, even that I don't need people to guard it, so for those who need to be guarded, how much you have to take care of them? To be a real monument of sacrifice, only if you beat yourself humble, with avanim, with stones, with no noise. You do something, you do a good thing to your friend, you tell your friend, you don't need to make noise. Do it nicely. You don't need to embarrass him. In front of people, you will say what you did for him. Do it nicely. You don't need to do it, loudly. The value of Am Israel before Matan Torah. This is the Jews, they reach a high level before they receive the Torah and after they receive the Torah. That is very important for Hashem. there is the book of Tzror Chaim. It said how much every Jew on the day of Shavuot, he should pray to Hashem that he will have a piece of the Torah that was given Har Sinai. And that's why the Torah, it's not written when the Torah was given, because there is no time of the Torah to be given. The day you decide to receive Torah, it's your day. My friend, Am Israel said, when Hashem proposed them the Torah, when Hashem, you want the whole nation, they want Torah, I proposed the Torah, they said no. They said yes, no, yes, no. They were doubting. But Am Israel, they said, Na'aseh v'nishma. They did not hesitate 1 minute. They said, yes, we do, and then we listen. Usually, I propose you something, you listen, then you decide, yes or no. But Am Israel, quick, they said, yes, Na'aseh, we want to do. The question is, how, from when they reach that level, the Jews, to say, Na'aseh v'nishma, we'll do, after they said, we hear. I mean, usually, we hear and then we do. But Am Israel, they said, no, we do. Give us the Torah, we want to do it. That was amazing from them. That was incredible. But the Jews, they understand something. They said, if we say to Hashem, we listen, then we will do what we listen, maybe till they listen, they will start asking questions, and then there will be discussions, and then maybe after they will do nothing. They said, no, no, no. Before we say to Hashem, we listen, we will do. But my question is, it's incredible. The whole Jews, no one hesitated. God, I mean, say everyone, all of them, they said, yes, 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 we do, then we listen. I mean, maybe, even not one. Millions of Jews, they said, we do, then we listen. It's incredible. How can you do that? How it happened? My friend, this is Ma'aseh Avot Siman Labanim. You know, my friend, the Jews at that time, when Hashem proposed them the Torah, they knows how much Hashem loved them. All the miracles he did with them in Egypt, all the miracles that he's done with them in the sea now, and they had an heritage, Ma'aseh Avot Siman Labanim. That was the parent. The parent, they were like Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. They never asked questions to Hashem. Whatever Hashem, he said to Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, they were willing to do it. Look, when Abraham said to Abraham, take your son's sacrifice, he did not ask question. He said yes. Quickly he went. I think this is the reason why the Jews, they did not ask no question. They did not say, we want to listen, then we'll do. Look, when Hashem said to Abraham, take your son, sacrifice, he could ask questions and wait for the answers. And Abraham, he did not ask no questions, he did need no answer, he just took his son and he went to sacrifice him. So that's what happened to the Jews in the desert. Ma'aseh Avot Siman Labanim. The Bnei Israel, when Hashem proposed the Torah, they said, yes, we do it. Na'aseh v'nishma, we do. Then we listen. This is the heritage of Am Israel. They don't do no question. How much we learn from Hashem. how much a man should take himself to help his friend. Ya Ali, go up, go down, go, help. Why not? Do like Hashem. Even that Hashem didn't need to come down, and he did it for the coward. I mean, if that, why you would not do that for your friend? The whole Matan Torah, it's about this. This is Matan Torah. Hashem will give us a present, so we have to give presents, good words, shalom, etc., etc. My friend, I would like to wish to all of you happiness, bracha, v'etzlacha, b'riut, v'et Hashem. And I would like just to finish with a beautiful story. There was a rabbi, his name is Rav Moshe Lidinsky. This rabbi, he was in the yeshiva. For 3 years, he didn't see his parents. After 3 years, he came home, and then he went to see his parents. So his parents asked him, well, how was your learning, your studying in the yeshiva? He said, Baruch Hashem, everything was good. So the father he said, what about your chavrot, what your friends there? He said, no, I don't have a lot of friends there. I only have one, and we studied together day and night, all the time. So the father asked him, what's his name? And Rav Moshe said, Papa, I have a problem. I don't know what it is his name. So the father asked him, what, you've been studying with him 3 years and you don't know his name? He said, Papa, no, we did not have time that he called me, that I called him, because all the time, the hours that we fixed to study, I was there before, he was there. So never we had a chance to call each other because we were always together. So I don't know his name. A few years later, this Rav Moshe, he married the daughter of the Havetz Chaim. And then one day he went to America to collect money. And there was a man who asked him, I heard that your name is Rav Moshe. Do you remember me? He said, no. What do you mean, no? I said, no. I was your chavrota. We will be learning together. Yes. Yes. Well, you remember even that I was learning with you. Rav Moshe told him, I never called you. As a matter of fact, you as well never called me because we had no time to call each other. We were always here. We call somebody only if we need him, if we don't see him. But we've always been together. So whatever you needed, I was here to help you. Whatever I needed, you were here to help me. So you didn't need my name, and I didn't know to know your name. But how do you know my name now? You couldn't. See, because I heard people calling you Rav Moshe, and I saw your face, so I remembered you. Can you imagine that, my friend? This is Shavuot. Shavuot, it's a learn. You learn something that Be'ezat Hashem, take what it is all Shavuot about. It's to keep mitzvot between you and Hashem, mitzvot between you, we, and our friends, and especially the same way that you value Hashem, you have to value your friend. And sometimes even better value your friend that you see every time than just say, I value Hashem. How can you feel that you value Hashem that you don't see, and the one that you see don't value him? This is that when we say Shema Israel, we have to think how much we love Hashem. But in the same way, we have to imagine, to think that we have to love our friends. Why is this? Because Hashem wants to tell you, I ask you to love me, but do you know me? No, but you teach yourself to love me. But if really you love me, you must love your friend that is next to you. Otherwise, how can you love me that I am far away from you and you don't love the one that is next to you? So the condition to love me is, first, love your friends. Value your friends the same way I do with you. I wish you all the best and God bless you. Have a good week. And now you see why the parasha is long. The same way that the parasha is long and there is no limit of the parasha, that's so. The love that you have to give to your friends should be with no limit. With no limit. And long. Why? Because this is the Torah about. The Torah is, most of the mitzvot of the Torah have a link with your friends. So, if you love Hashem, you have to love the Torah. Because, don't forget, only through the Torah, loving your friend, we can give love to Hashem. Because Hashem, he don't want to be the king of people that they don't love each other, that they fight each other. No. Hashem, he wants a real love between people. If there is a real love between people, so there is a love to Hashem. God bless you. I wish you all the best. I forgot to tell you that in the parasha we say that Hashem asked the Bnei Israel to receive the barakah from the Kohanim. And Hashem said to the Kohanim, give the barakah to the Bnei Israel. Ko tevarechu et Bnei Israel, emor lahem barecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. And Hashem asked the Kohanim to bless the Jews. And it's a mitzvah to listen to the blessing of the Kohanim. I mean, what is the reason that the Kohanim should bless us? And Hashem said, once the Kohanim bless us, Hashem will bless us as well. For me, I understand that Hashem, he wants to teach the Jews how much we have to take care of each one, to bless each one. And this is very important. By blessing, we demonstrate the love that we should have to each one of us. This is very important for Hashem that we bless. That's why we go to Tzadikim to get blessing, because the blessing is very important. You know, even Yaakov Avinu, he asked to all his children that on Erev Shabbat, that each papa should bless his children. Shmecha, the blessing that Yaakov gave to Menashe and Ephraim, Simcha Elohim ki Ephraim Menashe, a blessing. That means Hashem, through the blessing, through a bracha, we demonstrate how much we love each other.
على ربي حيم بنتو